7:13 a.m. Two police cruisers in my driveway. Lights flashing, lead cop's hand floating near his belt like I'm packing heat. And me, just standing there, clutching a chipped Army Corps of Engineers mug, watching steam curl up into a sky that has no idea it's about to witness the wildest showdown this side of Tulsa. And there's Deidre Kensington, HOA president, queen of the cul-de-sac, parked 40 feet back with her arms folded like she's watching her own reality show, smirk practically burned into her surgically frozen face, thinking she's finally got me cornered. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to get swatted on land you own, paid for in cash, deed in hand, trust me, it's equal parts rage and absolute disbelief. And the smell? That morning was fresh-cut grass and pure, undiluted desperation. For hours earlier, Deidre dialed 911 and told them there was a dangerous squatter on her property. Maybe she thought the badge would scare me off. Classic power move, right? Except I'm a 54-year-old veteran who's seen worse than a homeowners association in Afghanistan, just trying to build a workshop and maybe find a little peace for once in my life. Joke's on her, though. What Deidre didn't know, tucked safe in my kitchen drawer, was a single piece of paper about to turn her whole world inside out. So let me ask, what would you do if someone tried to have you arrested for being on your own land? Yeah, drop your answer in the comments. And let me know where you're watching from, because I bet there's more than a few HOA war stories out there that'll make mine look tame. Name's Garrett Hollins. Divorced, 2 grown kids, 1 in college, 1 slogging through med school. And after 20 years with the Army Corps, I hung up my boots and started my own engineering consultancy in Tulsa. Never figured I'd be the kind of guy who goes hunting for a fight, but life's got a sense of humor. 6 months back, I bought myself 3.2 acres at the edge of Pinewood Estates. Beautiful patch of land, big enough to breathe, with a 150-year-old oak in the front yard that creaks like an old pirate ship whenever the wind rolls through. I pictured a little peace and quiet, a shop to tinker in, maybe a safe haven for my kids when they needed to get away from their mom's new boyfriend. But peace? Not so much. Because when I bought this place, it sat just outside the HOA's official lines. 2018 survey to prove it. Property line a clean 200 feet east of my driveway. I made sure before I ever signed a check, because I'd heard all the horror stories. Garden gnomes getting people fined, lien slapped for a mailbox in the wrong shade of blue, the whole circus. Pinewood Estates is your cookie-cutter suburb, 127 homes, dues at $385 a month, and an HOA board that likes to pretend they're running a country club. Here's where it goes off the rails. Just after I closed, Deidre and her band of clipboard warriors filed sneaky paperwork with the county. No notice, no letter, just some legal voodoo, pulling my property inside their jurisdiction. Enter Deidre herself, pastel blazers, real estate agent hair, and a voice that could cut sheet metal. Drives a white Lexus with a HOA QN vanity plate, and I swear she says community standards like she's channeling some kind of suburban cult leader. Within a week, I get my first certified letter, $2, 500 fine for unauthorized structure, which is their fancy way of saying my garage, built before their HOA even existed, offended her sense of order. I reply, survey in hand, lawyer friend backing me up, not in your HOA. Didn't matter. 2 weeks later, she's on my property, clipboard snapping, sunglasses reflecting every inch of my driveway, threatening a lien, threatening foreclosure, threatening me. The fines ballooned, $5,000, daily penalties, the works. I've dealt with better negotiators in actual war zones. That's when I met my neighbor Ruben, old machinist, brought over a 6-pack and a laugh. They're bleeding you dry, brother, he said. That's the game. Make fighting so expensive, you'll give up. But I wasn't about to roll over. I called Lucia Brennan, sharp local attorney who owed me a favor. She took one look at Deidre's annexation paperwork and shook her head. That's not just wrong, Garrett. That's fraud. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about me. Travis and Mallory Kent, young couple down the street, already had $8,000 in fines for installing a swing set. Deidre wasn't a stickler. She was running a shakedown on the whole neighborhood. So I ignored her letters. And then she escalated, filed a police report claiming I trespassed, threatened her, the whole 9 yards. That's why I ended up face-to-face with Sergeant Pacheco and his rookie partner, standing in my driveway at sunrise, coffee cooling in my hand, Deidre hovering like a vulture. 20 years in the Army teaches you, stay calm, Don't give him an excuse. I kept my hands visible, explained everything, handed over the paperwork, showed dashcam footage of Deidre trespassing on my land. Pacheco took his time, checked the plat maps, radioed it all in. Deidre, 40 feet back, arms crossed, waiting for me to get hauled off in cuffs. But Pacheco finally turns to her and says, "Ma'am, this is a civil matter, not criminal trespass. If you want to pursue it, take it to court." Deidre's mask cracked. She started yelling about her taxes paying his salary. He shut her down, flat. "We don't enforce HOA bylaws. Hire a lawyer." She peeled out so hard the smell of burnt rubber hung in the air for minutes. And Pacheco leaned in, off the record, told me, "Document everything. I've seen HOAs pull this. Protect yourself." That's when I understood. This was never about rules or dues. Deidre wanted to break me, plain and simple. So Lucia fires off a cease and desist, files formal complaints with the county. Turns out Oklahoma law requires actual notice to landowners for annexation. I got nothing, which means their land grab. Legally void. Here's a tip. If your HOA ever tries to rope you in, check your state's laws on notice. Most require certified mail. Deidre? She went nuclear. Emergency board meetings, whipping up panic, spinning me as some squatter threatening their authority. She doubled down, threatening lawsuits, amping up the harassment. Then, just to keep things spicy, anonymous photos of my truck started showing up on my phone, captioned, "We're watching." Lucia told me to install cameras. Didn't bother me much. After some of what I've seen overseas, this was just Mean Girls, Suburb Edition. Week 7, the HOA sues, tries to enforce the annexation, claiming their redrawn plat trumps my deed. They hire a bulldog lawyer known for scaring people into default. Lucia's response: motion to dismiss, counterclaim for fraud, discovery requests for everything from board minutes to bank statements. And that's when it all starts unraveling. Turns out $140,000 had gone missing from HOA financials. Deidre's LLC collecting consulting fees, board members' family trusts snapping up foreclosed homes for pennies on the dollar. That night, 11 families crammed into Mallory's backyard with horror stories. Fines for solar panels, widowers losing homes over a few hundred in late fees. Lucia laid it out. This isn't just harassment. This is racketeering. RICO territory. And if we proved it, whole board could go down. So Deidre tried to crank up the pressure. Special assessments. Fake violation stickers. My mailbox, my garage, my truck all got plastered overnight. Gummy residue and spite. Then someone spray-painted deadbeat on my door. Security footage caught Deidre's Lexus in the background. Lucia forwarded it to the cops. Lucia's digging pays off. 3 homes foreclosed by the HOA. All snapped up by Deidre's LLC or board members' relatives, flipped for massive profit. Lucia adds federal racketeering to our suit. And that's when the media caught wind. Mallory, turns out, is a freelance journalist, pitched the story to the Tulsa Gazette. By the end of the week, Deidre's scrambling, offering to settle if I'd just sign an NDA. I told her to pound sand. But the real twist? HOA's drowning in debt. Missed payments on a $1.2 million construction loan. Bank forecloses on all the common property. The entire HOA, clubhouse, pool, even the welcome sign, up for auction. And here's where being an engineer with some stubborn friends pays off. I get the cash, I win the auction, and suddenly, I own the common property. Oklahoma law says if the owner petitions to dissolve a bankrupt HOA, it's game over. So that's what we did. Deidre panicked, showed up begging, no makeup, hair wild, voice shaking. "You can't do this," she pleaded. "I'll lose everything." I looked her dead in the eye. "You should have thought about that before you turned 127 families into your personal ATM." Her perfume was gone, just stale coffee and fear. Auction day, judge reviews the evidence, forensic audit, all of it. Deidre's new lawyer tries to argue, but the judge isn't buying. Then the detective walks in, hands the judge a warrant. Deidre's arrested on the spot. Embezzlement, fraud, perjury. You could hear a pin drop. Tears, handcuffs, mascara running down her face as she screamed at me. "You did this." "Yeah, I did. Someone had to." The crowd outside felt electric. Reporters, homeowners hugging, even a few cheers. I told the cameras, this isn't about me. It's about 127 families getting their neighborhood back. A month later, The vote to dissolve passes, nearly unanimous. We set up the Pinewood Commons Trust, real democracy, every dollar accounted for, board members elected, all meetings streamed. Dues drop 88%. The folks Deidre tried to bankrupt, they get their homes back. The scholarships, the food bank donations, the sense of actual community, none of that's a dream now. And Deidre? She pled guilty. 3 years in state prison, license gone, home sold at foreclosure to a young couple who couldn't stop grinning when they found out there's no HOA. The new board's diverse. Teachers, engineers, single dads. They're building a community garden where the old board wanted to put up a fence. Even got a law named after us. Garrett's Law mandates audits, open meetings, caps on fees. You'd be surprised how many neighborhoods have called since, wanting to know how to fight back. Mallory's documentary blew up. Travis set up a resource website for people everywhere to learn what we did. And every so often, I'll get a knock at the door, new family, big smiles. Heard you're the reason we could afford a house here. That's the real win. Not the courtroom drama or the arrest, but seeing kids play without fear, neighbors actually trusting each other, a system finally serving the people it's supposed to. So now I want to hear from you. What's your HOA nightmare? Drop it in the comments. Share where you're watching from. And if you want more stories of regular folks taking on corrupt systems, hit that subscribe button. Next time, wait till you hear what happened in Florida. Turns out, some HOA presidents run Ponzi schemes. Yeah, that happened.